against Gnosticism. Origen was a master exegete. He was of Alexandria, Caesarea, around about 185 to 254. And he was an absolute master, and he used the allegorical method of interpretation. Then you have the school of Antioch. You have the great Antiochian exegetes, says you have Theodore of Motsuistia, 350 to 428, and John Chrysostom, 347-407. They used the historical grammatical method of understanding the New Testament. Then we have the Latin fathers in the 4th and 5th centuries. We have Marius Victorianus, 300-370, on Galatians, Philippians, and Ephesians. We have Jerome, 347-420, on Philemon, Galatians, scholar. And then you have Augustine, 354-430, on Romans and Galatians. These were majestic exegetes of the New Testament. Then we have the Middle Ages. F.F. Bruce says, the quality of Augustine's character and intellect ensured that his example dominated the following centuries in Western Christendom. In the standard fourfold sense of Scripture, the three non-literal senses were varies of the spiritual sense. Thus, a reference to water in Scripture might have literal sense of water, but in the moral sense it could denote purity of life, etc. So F.F. Bruce is saying Augustine had a massive impact on the schools of the Middle Ages. There was the Glossia Ordinaria, the great medieval compilation of biblical annotation, took shape from the 11th to the 15th century. You have John Wycliffe in that time, who undertook to make the Bible available to English people. You have the Renaissance, Reformation, and Counter-Reformation. You have John Colet in 467 and 1519, later Dean of St. Paul, broke with scholasticism and lectured on Paul's epistles, expanding the text, the plain meaning. You had Erasmus, who developed his New Testament, Greek New Testament, in 1516, 1519, 1522, and 1527. You had Luther, who was a massive influence, who really said to John Eck, basically, Luther lived from 1483 to 1546. Basically, he said Scripture alone, and expanded many Bible texts. You had John Calvin, who was more from 1509 to 64. He was a massive exegete who used, he repudiated the time-honored allegorical method, as wholeheartedly as Luther did. Not only did he enable the interpreter to extract whatever sense he wished from the text, but it effectively obscured the true sense intended by the Spirit. He was not disposed to maintain time-honored interpretations which found pretext for Christian doctrine in the most unlikely of places, says F.F. Bruce, if he thought that they were excluded by the plain sense of the context. In other words, Calvin was a master